Hey guys, it's Fred. I've got a interesting video here, I feel. Again, everything I say is allegedly, hypothetical, speculative, my opinion, opinionated. Nothing's meant with malice or not to be malicious. I hope I don't post anything that's false. I try not to. I try to double check things. A lot of this stuff is going to be from other people's videos. I hope they don't mind. If they do, they can contact me and I'll take it down. Guys, there's some interesting YouTubers out there. I advise you to go subscribe. I'm not saying I agree with everything they say. I may not even agree with a little bit of what they say, but if they're on there, it means they've said something that's made sense in the Summer Wells case, and it deserves being looked at. And they deserve being looked at. When they post a video, look at it and see what they posted. It may be the very clue. It may be the very information that we need, or the TBI needs. No, not us. Sheila and I don't need it. If anybody gets any information that's good, hard evidence, good, hard information, give it to Hawkins County Sheriff's Department or the TBI or the FBI. I think they're also on this case at one time or another. Give it to law enforcement, guys. You don't have to give it to YouTubers. Give it to law enforcement. We want to find out what happened. And guys, look at this. I'm going to play this video a couple of times. I'm going to play a couple other videos, and I'm probably going to come back to this one because out of everything I've seen as a police officer, this is suspicious. Now, does it mean that somebody's guilty of anything? Absolutely not. Does it mean if you put this along with something else, along with something else and something else, and you put all these things together, that should be a person of interest? That should be a person worth looking at again? Or let's just play the video.
I don't know what else to say, and I'm not going to say much, just because of the situation.
I will say, and then she says, I'm not going to say much because of the situation. Now, guys, don't worry about what she says. This here is Jody Sue Brown. This here lives across the road from where Summer Wells disappeared from. Directly across the road. If we haven't discussed it already, we will discuss it in the future. Her 19-year-old son was accused of being on the Wells property. It's been brought up that possible peeping Tom. It's been brought up that even in one of these audios, I think it may be in this tape, where they said Jody is actually asking Chris, the detective, about a peeping Tom and so forth, and implying that maybe Don was. We've not heard anything that Don was ever a peeping Tom. We could have missed that if anybody's got that, but they say Don was a lot of things, and we're not taking up for them. We're not insulting them. But watch this face. Watch the face. Don't worry about what she says. Watch the face. In fact, did you see that, guys? Did you see that? Did you see that? Her chin comes together, her chin puckers, mouth is closed, and her eyes go from side to side like, don't say nothing. Don't. Now, is that me? Could be me. Again, let's cover ourselves. Let's cover ourselves. Once again, guys, I don't even know why I say cover ourselves, because anybody wants to sue Sheila and I are more than welcome to. If you think we've misjudged or said something wrongly or incorrectly, then by all means sue. Because I've said it for years and years and years. The good thing about a lawsuit is you can always file a counter lawsuit, and in a counter lawsuit you've got depositions and you've always got that person under oath. They don't realize it, that when you sue somebody, they're probably going to counter sue you back, which also makes you subjected to the same depositions and sworn depositions as they are. And that's a good time to find out information about what happened on a particular day, particular month, particular year, particular time. So again, I want you to watch this. I'm going to show it one more time at the end.
I don't know what else to say. I'm not going to say much, just because of the situation.
Look at that face, guys. Who's she talking to there? She was in the car. They had come out of the holler. They got out of the holler. They got out. They got out while everybody else was on lockdown. They were able to get out. Her and who she's with. It's on Killer Looks. I know it's on Killer Looks YouTube channel. So, where they say they were able to get out of the holler, but they had to go back because the feds were there to talk to them. Look at that face. Watch them eyes. Study this video. Play it over and over and over again. See if I'm incorrect. See if I'm reading into something. I could be. Very well could be. I know she don't like to hear this, but a 40-year career as a police officer, I don't think I'm reading into it. I don't think I am. I think it's something that at least the Sheriff's Department and TBI should take a closer look at. Let's go to the next video. Let's go to the next one.
That someone visiting the wells saw Jody Sue's son exiting the wells yard, going into the woods, and exiting out onto Ben Hill Road where the person that was chasing him lost him. They later found him standing beside Jody Sue's car. He was at the bottom of Dawn and Candace's driveway, blowing her horn, screaming at them to stop. And when the girl that chased him through the woods walked up Ben Hill Road and saw him standing next to the car, she said, "That's him." And Jody Sue told Candace he was checking my mail.
Coincidence? Coincidence? We had another video. We did another video where the Bedtime Story, I think, was the YouTuber that did it. And she actually interviewed the people or showed them a picture or something. Or one of these YouTubers. Guys, I can't keep up with everybody. There's too many, and I'm thankful they are. I'm thankful everybody's covered this story, or at least covering it now. And smart people, smart YouTubers. They sometimes, I don't even know if they realize what they've got or not. But if you put just one of these elements by itself out there, you think, there ain't nothing to that. But if you put several of them, if you take several items or evidence and you put it all together, could mean something.
Don calls Candace.
I don't know if his name was Anthony, Andrews, or something with A.
All I heard was
The only thing that she told me from the phone call is that there was some dude, Andrew, Anthony, Andy, whatever it was. Just the name A.
Okay.
That's all I remember. Is that he's been up on the property for a week or two trying to, I guess she said touch the little kids.
Trying to touch? Did he say trying to touch the little kids? Trying to touch the little kids? If I heard it correctly, it's hard to hear, but it sounded like that's what he said. This very intelligent fella here, very intelligent investigator, very knowledgeable, very credible in my book. I've watched several of his videos, and very smart. Guys, you put all these people together, you can't go wrong. When you put all these people together and all the evidence that each one of them's collected, you throw it together. I think this interview was with Hunter. I think this interview was with Hunter on the phone there. And Hunter says there'd been somebody on the hill. He doesn't know him. He just knows name started with A. And I think they might have said Andy, and he said, I just know that name starts with A. And I think there at the end he says that Candace had told him or somebody that he was trying to touch the little kids. Really? Is that interesting? If it's true, again, guys, I'm going off other people's YouTube videos. Remember, there were some people that wanted drama. One in particular, she wanted drama. When it started coming out that people was looking at her or questioning, that we had questions. Sheila and I had questions. Let's just put it like that. Sheila and I, as we started looking, once we swayed away from Candace's mother, Don, and Hunter, once we got through that, then we moved to the next closest person in proximity to where Summer was on that day, and that is the neighbor, the next door neighbor. Andy, his son Andy, his wife Jody, Jody's daughter Damien, which is Andy Jr., which is the son. Curious, guys. I'm not just hypothetical, alleging. I'm just asking questions. I'm really not alleging. I'm just asking questions. Does this sound peculiar? Does this sound interesting to anybody else? Let me see. I think I got one more.
Just this kind of shrill, almost animalistic scream.
Jody Sue and her son went out to look for the source of the scream.
Whoa, animalistic scream. We heard this animalistic scream. Very possible telling the truth. Remember though, when Don was talking to, it was either on a YouTube video or to Sheila and I can't remember, but one or the other. Don says that he was holding it was to me and Sheila because he was showing us pictures. And we pointed out a picture of him holding Summer. And I said, is that you in the background? He said, yeah. He said, oh, she screamed. He said she had the awful scream on her. And he was laughing about how loud Summer could scream. When I saw this video, Sheila and I, both of us looked at each other because it stood out. Animalistic scream? Could, hypothetically, could somebody have been carrying, let's just say hypothetically, there was a peeping Tom at the back door. Hypothetically, because you'd have to be at the back door because remember, they've got aluminum foil over their windows. So they would have to be at the back door where they could see in or open the door a little bit and peek in. And they got noticed. Let's say there was a peeping Tom and he got noticed. And then all of a sudden he panicked, decided to grab her up and snatch her out of there. Takes off running down the hill, gets over that steep incline, almost loses his footing. He's got his hand over her mouth. I'm talking hypothetical. He trips, takes his hand off her mouth to catch himself. She screams, animalistic scream. Wow, maybe that's what they heard up on the hill there. Maybe somebody was kidnapping Summer and she let out this real big scream, and then they put their hand back over her mouth, or they choked her, or they smothered her to death because they panicked. Why did Jody Sue, her son, and her daughter, all three of them, all three happened to be right there together inside the cabin, it sounds like. Inside the cabin, because Jody Sue says they went out to see if they could see what it was. All three of them. She mentions all three went out, and her son did this, and she makes sure to mention, very well, could be true, could be exactly what happened. Or could it be somebody just covering for their son? It could be. Again, these are hypothetical, allegedly. I'm throwing it out there. We're trying to find a missing child, and we're drama. Remember, that's some of the people that loves the drama, so let's just go with the drama. But while we're going with drama, let's try to ask intelligent, logical, interesting questions. How could they be inside the cabin, across the hill, on the other side of the road, up the hill, and Summer's somewhere on the dog path, somewhere between the back door and the dog path, they're saying? They heard her scream up on the hill. They heard this scream, but Candace and Grandma, is out here putting her knee brace on in the door of her camper. She doesn't hear her daughter scream, this animalistic scream that's even closer to Grandma and Candace than it would be to Jody and Damien and the daughter that's inside their cabin farther up the hill. How is that? I think it's a reasonable question to ask.
screen.
My son and I decided to go out and look and see.
My son and I. First she says the three of us was inside the cabin, or the three of them was together. She wants to account for everybody. Now, is she accounting for everybody because it's simply the truth and they're all three together? Very possible. I have no proof that it's otherwise. But could she be saying the three of them was in the cabin where she could give credit, alibis, that all three of them were together? Now she says her and her son went out. Now here she is, including
See what we could see. We went back onto the bank.
to see what we could see. Her and her son went out to see what they could see. Is that because it's true? And they both went out to see what they could see after hearing this animalistic scream? It's possible, very possible. But is it possible that after he gets back up the hill, let's say something happened at the bottom of the hill and her son runs up the hill and says, "Hey Mom, I've made a mistake or done this or done that," and she realizes, because it seems like Miss Brown here's always Johnny on the spot. She's on the Johnny on the spot when she's working on her flowers, but yet I seen a video earlier where she said doesn't like flowers. She doesn't like that kind of stuff, but yet in one video to the news, she says she was working on her flowers when summer come up missing. It's little things like that, guys, when people make these videos that you watch for. You watch for, because if somebody's saying something that's not true or inaccurate, inconsistent with something they've said in the past, that's a good place to pick up on it. And when you start putting a bunch of inconsistencies together, that's where you contact your local sheriff's department or your TBI and they say, "Hey, let's take a closer look at these people." Because I believe, in my opinion, in my 40-year career, Miss Brown, I think it's only right. And she would welcome it. Surely she would welcome another investigation and another interrogation of her and her family and her son. And I don't know where her son's at. They tell me that he joined the Army. What base is he at? They have intelligence, they have investigators, they have, or civilian detectives are allowed to go there and interrogate. I think it'd be worth looking into, and knowing that she's the type of person that she is, that she wants the truth, because I've heard her say before that I've offered to take a polygraph. I've offered to give my children polygraphs. Well, maybe it's time to take her up on it. Maybe it's time to take the kids up on it. Put them in separate rooms and interrogate these people. Let's find out from the time they got up that morning what they did that day and how they got together. How come all three of them was in the house that evening? What were they doing while were they in the house? Were they watching a movie? What movie was on? What part of the movie was it at? So many questions a good investigator. I don't want to give it all out here, because if somebody is guilty, all they got to do is go get with each other and try to, but I don't care how well they prepare. See, I, as an investigator, where two or more are involved, Sheila and I say, one will talk. I don't care how well people prepare. There's going to be little snippets of something that a good investigator is going to be able to find out from each one of them. Just me talking.
Didn't see anything, didn't hear anything.
She says they didn't see anything and didn't hear anything.
Door. Then
Well-
all three were there, listening still.
We heard just this kind of shrill, almost animalistic scream.
Guys, in my opinion, I don't have any knowledge. In my opinion, Candace and Don and Grandma may not be who we spend as much time looking at. That's the way people's pointed fingers. You know, is it funny? Has anybody else, and if you have, please put it in the comments or so we can give you credit, because we don't care who gets credit. What other YouTubers are out there that has said over the years, wow, why is this person directing everybody's attention toward Fred Hill? Why is everybody directing everybody's attention towards Candace and Don and Grandma? Why is this person directing everybody's attention towards, I don't know, there's so many of them in this smorgasbord, and I'm not going to name any other ones because every one of them people may be completely innocent, and this may be the person that's hollering wolf. The person hollering wolf that's trying to redirect everybody out there may be, hypothetically, allegedly, whatever you want to, speculative. It's my opinion that the very person that's yelling wolf and pointing their fingers at other people may be doing nothing but a cover. May be doing nothing. This here to me is curious.
I don't know what else to say. I'm not going to say much, just because of the situation.
Look at that. Look at that. Whoever she's with, she's looking at them, in my opinion, and she's nodding to them. Don't say nothing. Don't say nothing else. We don't want to go there. What could a person have to hide there? There's a child missing. A child missing on your holler, your neighbor across the street from you. But you look at somebody, in my opinion, there's a lot better investigators and YouTubers out there than Sheila and I. Guys, we don't claim to be nothing special. But when you all look at this, see if you think I'm overreacting. Or Sheila and I. Sheila's got her own opinion. That don't mean she's into the drama just because she looks at something and says, well, that looks suspicious to me. I don't understand that. Now you put this along with 8 or 10 other things. TBI, Sheriff's Department. Take them up on it. She says she's offered to do polygraphs. She's offered all these different things. Take her up on it. Take her up on it. See if she shows up. Let's see if she's blowing smoke. Let's see if she really shows up for a polygraph. Let's see if the son, who's in the United States Army, shows up for a polygraph. Let's see if the daughter, she was underage at the time, but she's old enough now to consent to a polygraph or not. And spend a day or two interrogating these three and getting their stories. And thanks, guys.